Welcome, everyone. Today we're doing into a true classic, Ridley Scott's 1979 sci-fi horror masterpiece, Alien.
A landmark film, really. It came out of the incredible wave of 70s sci-fi, but did something, well, darker, more visceral.
Exactly. It blends that deep space setting with intense suspense, body horror, and some pretty probing questions about humanity, technology, and control.
hmm And visually, it just redefined the look of space travel and alien life, thanks in no small part to H.R. Giger's unforgettable designs.
Spot on. So today we'll walk through the plot's main beats, then really dig into some key
Like
themes.
how space travel itself is framed, not as adventure, but something else entirely.
Right. And the big one, freedom versus control, both corporate, Wayland-Yutani, and biological, the alien itself.
Can't forget Ash, the android.
Yeah,
His role is crucial to that whole theme of control and, well, questionable AI.
definitely. We'll also touch on the direction, the art, the sound, the creature effects, all the elements that make it work so well.
And finally, we'll sort of wrap up by looking at its legacy, how it changed things for sci-fi cinema.
Okay, so let's kick off with the setup, the Nostromo.
Yeah, what strikes you immediately is that these aren't heroes in the traditional sense. They're miners, haulers, essentially, working for the company, the Wayland-Yutani Corporation.
Just clocking in, wanting to get paid and go home. They're on the return trip from Tau Ceti with a massive mineral ore load deep in hypersleep.
Until Mother, the ship's computer, wakes them. Not because they're home, but because of this distress signal, or maybe a warning signal, from an uncharted moon, LV-426.
Protocol dictates they have to investigate. So Captain Dallas, Kane, and Lambert head down in the lander.
And what they find is just eerie. That massive derelict alien spacecraft, the space jockey fossilized at the controls. It's ancient, non-human, completely unsettling.
Inside, they discover that cargo hold filled with leathery eggs. And Kane, well, curiosity gets the better of him.
He gets too close. The egg opens, and bam! The facehugger latches on. It's such a violation right from the start.
Back on the Nostromo, Ripley wants to follow quarantine procedures. Keep Kane outside for 24 hours. Sensible, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Ash, the science officer, overrides her. He lets them back in, citing Dallas's authority, but really, well, we find out later why he really did it.
Yeah, that's the first major crack in the crew's unity, isn't it? Duty versus safety, or perhaps duty versus something else entirely.
And it sets up that constant tension between following the rules for survival and the hidden corporate agenda.
So they get Kane inside, try to remove the facehugger, but it's impossible without killing him. Then it just detaches on its own, dies.
Everyone breathes a sigh of relief. Kane seems okay. They even have a final meal together before going back into stasis. It feels like the danger might have passed.
But then comes that scene, the dinner scene. Kane starts choking, convulsing, and
The chest burster. It's sudden, bloody, horrifying. Kills Kane violently and escapes into the ship. It's a massive turning point.
no kidding. The relief is gone, Kane's dead, and now there's this thing loose on the ship, and it grows incredibly fast.
Yeah, the film really shifts gears there. It becomes a hunt. But the crew are the prey. The Nostromo, their home and workplace, turns into this dark, claustrophobic maze.
And their attempts to catch or kill it just highlight how outmatched they are. Brett goes looking for the cat, Jonesy.
And finds the now much larger alien instead. His death is another shock, showing the creature's stealth and power.
They try trapping it in the air ducts using flamethrowers. Dallas bravely goes in.
But the alien outsmarts them. Dallas's death in the vents, tracked only by his motion detector blip suddenly rushing towards him. Terrifying.
It really is. And amidst all this terror, Ripley starts getting suspicious, especially about Ash. She accesses Mother directly.
And discovers the truth. Special Order 937, crew expendable. The real mission was always to bring back the alien specimen for the company's bioweapons division.
Ash was planted there to ensure it happened. It's a devastating betrayal. Their lives mean nothing compared to the potential profit.
Which brings us right into those core themes. Let's talk about space travel first. Alien really strips away the romance, doesn't it?
Completely.
Yeah.
No soaring orchestral scores over nebulae. It's greasy, industrial, functional. The Nostromo feels like a flying oil rig or a long-haul truck.
Space isn't a majestic frontier here. It's cold, isolating, dangerous. And the ship itself, with its narrow corridors, dripping pipes, dark corners, it becomes a prison.
That claustrophobia is key. It mirrors the crew's feeling of being trapped not just by the alien, but by their situation, by the company.
Yeah, it's less Star Trek's exploration and more like being trapped in a haunted house. But the house is in the most hostile environment imaginable. Technology isn't liberating, it's confining.
And that ties into the freedom versus control theme. Weyland-Yutani represents this faceless, overarching corporate control.
They dictate the mission, they withhold information, they value the alien specimen over human life. Ash is their agent, ensuring the corporate mandate is followed, no matter the cost.
Ripley's fight then becomes not just against the alien, but against this system. Her attempts to enforce protocol, to prioritize safety, are constantly undermined.
Right. And then there's the biological control exerted by the alien itself. Its whole life cycle is about dominating and using other life forms. Egg, facehugger implanting the embryo, chest burster, predator.
It's an implacable force of nature, in a way. It imposes its biological imperative violently, stripping away any sense of bodily autonomy from its hosts.
So you have these two powerful forces, corporate greed and biological horror, squeezing the individual freedom of the crew until it barely exists.
Which makes Ash such a fascinating figure.
Yeah.
He embodies that corporate control hidden in plain sight.
Initially, he seems helpful, rational, part of the team. He helps with repairs, offers analysis, builds trust.
But it's all a facade. His loyalty is programmed, absolute, and entirely devoid of empathy for the humans around him. When Ripley confronts him and he attacks her.
And Parker and Lambert intervene, leading to that reveal, the white fluid, the twitching. He's an android. It's another shocking moment.
Ian Holmes' performance is brilliant there. That coldness, the slight pauses, the detached curiosity even as he's trying to kill Ripley.
He even expresses a chilling kind of admiration for the alien. Its purity, its perfection as a survivor, unclouded by morality or conscience.
He represents that potential dark side of AI, doesn't he? Utility and obedience overriding ethics. A tool that can and will betray its users if programmed to.
Absolutely. And thinking about the film's craft, Ridley Scott's direction is just masterful in creating that atmosphere.
The pacing, the use of shadow and light, lots of deep shadows, sudden bursts of harsh light, those sickly greens in the infirmary.
And the production design. Ron Cobb's work on the Nostromo, that lived-in functional feel, contrasts so brilliantly with Geiger's biomechanical nightmare fuel for the alien ship and creature designs.
Geiger's contribution is immense. The alien, the facehugger, the eggs, the derelict ship's interior, it's like nothing seen before. Disturbing and weirdly beautiful.
It creates this whole implied alien civilization and biology that's just glimpsed, making it even more mysterious and frightening.
And the practical effects hold up remarkably well. The chest burster, Ash's decapitation, the alien itself achieved through suits, puppetry, clever editing. It feels tangible.
That tangibility adds so much to the horror. It feels real, immediate. The sound design, too, is crucial.
Oh, yeah. The ship's constant hum, the creaks, the steam hisses, juxtaposed with the alien screams and those unsettling silences before an attack. Jerry Goldsmith's score is often sparse, letting the soundscape do the work.
And the acting elevates it all. We mentioned Ian Holm, but Sigourney Weaver as Ripley, that's star-making stuff.
Her evolution is perfect. She starts as competent, maybe a bit rule-bound, but under pressure, she becomes incredibly resourceful, determined, the ultimate survivor. It wasn't the standard female role in sci-fi or horror then.
Not at all. She became an icon. The rest of the cast is great, too. Very naturalistic performances. You believe them as a working crew under immense stress.
So pulling it all together, what's the lasting legacy of Alien?
Well, it basically launched the sci-fi horror subgenre as we know it. Its influence is huge, spawning sequels, prequels, crossovers, and inspiring countless other films. Think Event Horizon, Pitch Black.
It gave us one of cinema's most iconic monsters and arguably its greatest female action hero in Ripley.
And its themes. They still resonate. The critique of corporate power, the anxieties about technology and AI, the fragility of humanity against forces beyond our understanding.
That idea of space travel not as glorious exploration but as blue-collar work in a dangerous environment feels, if anything, more relevant now as we talk about commercializing space.
It's a film that works on so many levels. Visceral horror, tense thriller, smart science fiction with layers of meaning about gender, class, biology, technology.
It proves you don't need wall-to-wall action or complex CGI to create something deeply affecting and enduring. Atmosphere, design, character, and suspense go a long way.
Which leads us to a final thought for you, listening at home. As we move deeper into an age of ubiquitous AI, and maybe, just maybe, more routine space travel, how do those questions Alien raised back in '79 hit differently now?
That question of how much control we cede to corporations, how vulnerable we remain biologically, and what happens when our own creations, like AI, don't share our values.
It gives Alien a chilling pertinence even decades later, doesn't it?
It certainly does. It's far more than just a creature feature. It's a reflection on who we are and what we might face out there, and maybe even in here. Definitely worth revisiting. Join us next time